In this video, we'll look at adding a second card to our stack and creating a splash card. To begin, as we are now going to work with two cards, it's important to properly name your card. We'll name the first level of our game Level 1. And even though we will build on this app later, we'll focus on the splash screen today. To create the screen, add a second card. Now that we have two cards in our stack, it's important to make use of the project browser from the Tools menu. Here we can see our stack and our two cards. We'll rename our splash card to Start. Now that we have a splash card created, we'll start by skinning the background, similar to what we've done in previous videos. In order to skin the background, once again we go File, Import as Control, we select our background image, which we already have prepared. We are fully aware that the background image is too large for the project, so we can modify the properties in the size option, adjust the width and the height to match our card, and lock size and position. Now that the image is modified, we take note once again of the ID number of the image, 1011. Render the image invisible. Now we will modify the background of our card, background fill, by referencing the ID number of the image. Now we have our splash card created. We have the background skinned. An important thing at this point is to create a button that will link our splash card to our main project. So we drag out the standard button. Of course, we can modify the aesthetics of this button later. The button can be renamed to Play, and this will be a suitable label. And as we code the button, the coding will be very simple, and we simply indicate by clicking the button. We go to card level 1. And once we run our project, and the button will bring us to our level 1 card. We can also modify the splash page aesthetically. For example, we can bring in the bluebird image that we've used in our game, knowing full well that the size is not appropriate for our card. May want to adjust this slightly larger. We can modify the bluebird image. Then when clicked, will bring us to our level 1 card. This may be an option to get away from the buttons. You can see it serves the same function. Our splash page as well can bring in instructions can speak to the app can also speak to the coder of the app. This is fairly simple to do by simply bringing on clickable buttons. Aligning these buttons, we'll say align left edge. First button can be instructions about the app and about the coder. Now, in order for these buttons to be functional and to bring about some fields of information, we can bring in a field. Call this field 1. Modify the contents. For example, the instructions, we can modify the font size. For now, change the opacity. Field 1. And we will make it invisible. So field 1 will display our instructions. We can code the button, remembering of course that field 1 is hidden. And we can say when clicked, the button instructions will show field 1. Now when we run our app, hitting instructions will bring forward the field. Of course, now I don't have a button that will clear the field, which was a simple line of code saying hide field 1. So we notice that we haven't coded anything that will hide the instruction field. So we'll modify this, render it invisible once again. But this time we'll modify the code for the instructions button to, on click, we will show the field 1. Then we will wait 4 seconds. And then we will hide field 1. This will add some automation to our buttons. Let's see, as we run it, we run our app, we click on instructions. Instructions are shown. After 4 seconds, they're hidden. So as we code the other buttons to show and hide fields, we can have this as an introduction to our simple app. So as we remove the play button, we now have an image. Add a label. Let's say click Bluebird to begin. One final element that is necessary for your splash page or card to load when your stack is opened is to modify the stack script. In here, we must include the code on open stack, go to card, start. This piece of code is important as it tells your project that when the stack is opened, especially within your standalone export, the first card to load and introduce your stack will be the start card.